Get Heavy Podcast, hosted by Craig Casamas and John Scheimer.
So I know we've probably met in passing a few times, right? I mean, here and there, you know what I mean? But I don't think we've ever had like any mini conversations. But during the pandemic, I obviously started popping up on my feed a lot more, and I just obviously you're in 1,001 bands, you know what I mean?
right.
What's the most current thing? A Robot Uprising? You're in that? You were doing other stuff. I mean, a bunch of other shit, right? How many?
Yes.
Here's what I want to ask: how many bands is too many bands for you? Right?
Well,
how many bands are you in at the same time? That's what I want to know.
So, like full-time bands. Robot Uprising would probably be the main one,
right? Yeah,
and I'm in that with Tony Cortez and Cliff Roman.
Yeah.
He's in our band now from the Weirdos.
The nicest man in Nardcore. Tony Cortez.
Dude. Yes,
yeah.
the mayor of Nardcore.
That's I he's the mayor. I call John C. the Prince. He's the Prince.
The Prince.
Yeah, he hates it. He fucking hates it.
The Prince. That's great.
I say it all the time. He fucking hates it.
Yeah.
So that would make you the Sergeant at Arms, maybe? I guess is that what you are?
I don't know about that. I think I'm kind of more guilty by association than anything.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because I didn't necessarily really grow up with the Nardcore stuff. Like I always knew it and I was always aware of it.
Yeah.
Around and even like the very first quote unquote real band I was in when I was like 14, we would play shows at Moggs with Ill Repute like in like early 90s, like 90, I guess.
Yeah, I was a kid. I grew up right around the Moggs was the one down in Montalvo, right off Johnson. Oh, hello, we lost you. Oh, there you are. I lost
there
you
we
for
go.
a sec. Moggs was the one that was on Johnson
my
down
fucking
there, right?
No, Moggs was the one
Nicklebee's?
that later became Nicklebee's.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm trying to think of what that one was that was down there off the Ventura Road, in between Johnson and Victoria. It was up for a while, you know what I mean? It was back in the day.
Yeah, I remember what you're talking about, but the ones I remembered the most were Moggs and then the livery, which not the livery, the fucking Mayfair,
right? Yeah, that was the legendary Green Day shows, the legendary you know what I mean? So, did you grow up here in Ventura and Oxnard?
For the most part. I was born in Santa Monica.
Oh, okay.
And okay, can you hear me? My internet's fucking being funky.
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
So, okay, cool. All right. Yeah, because it keeps popping up and telling me I'm connected to the internet. So it's like, I fucking
right. This time is kind of a high traffic time. You know what I mean? So and
I have a house full of teenagers that are all on various devices and shit too.
Yeah,
so
I definitely gotta talk to you. I gotta pick your I gotta pick your father brain here in a little while. Right.
Oh fuck yeah. But no, I forgot what the question was.
Where you grew up. You grew up around in Santa Monica. When did you get to Ventura and all that stuff?
Yeah. So I was born in Santa Monica, and we moved to Camarillo when I was about 4. Okay. So it was like 79, 80, like that area. As my dad worked for a wheelchair company. He worked for Everston Jennings wheelchair company. And they moved. They used to be like in Culver City, I guess, and so they moved their whole operation to Camarillo, where Technicolor was at for years and years.
Okay.
Like I don't even think it's Technicolor anymore. I think it's something else now. But anyway, so they moved there. But they paid for us to move up here and all that shit. So
how old were you?
In Camarillo, I was like 4. So this is like 79, 80, something like that, I was just a little, so we moved up here and
just a little grom.
That was a little crom. But yeah, so so I grew up in Camarillo. We lived in the neighborhood right behind where In-N-Out Burger's at. You know, when you get off the freeway, In-N-Out's right there.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
If you go straight, you go into the neighborhood that time forgot, basically. Yeah. And that's the little neighborhood I grew up in. But I had friends, you know, especially going into high school and stuff. I had a lot of friends, you know, like I became friends with Chris Savoy, okay, and Jason Emilio and Sean Harris, those guys. Mm-hmm. And they all lived in Ventura. And so I had friends, and so I'd always hang out in Ventura and stuff too. And
yeah,
you know, I even lived in Oxnard for a little bit, you know, with my sister when I was like maybe 19. She had an apartment in like the super shitty part of Oxnard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back when you know, they were all kind of shitty parts back then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there were some nicer neighborhoods, I guess, but yeah, it was different world.
Yeah,
then, you know.
Yeah, no, this was in that whole neighborhood right back behind, you know, that gas station on the corner of Pleasant Valley and Saviors.
Yeah.
And definitely. What's that street, Cloyne or something like that?
I get lost back there, dude.
Yeah,
it's so weird how Ventura and Oxnard, it's like, you know, I know the main drags, I know a lot of the offshoots, but when you get deep in there, dude, I'm fucking just as lost. You know what I mean? I know it's all grid, it's all easy, but you know, you just don't. It's like a world apart, you know what it seems like. But right. What got you into playing music? Was it? I mean, obviously, punk rock was the thing back then, right? Growing up in the '80s, early '90s, shit like that. But is that kind of just the natural thing? I mean, what got you into playing drums? What got you into all that stuff?
Well, I started out on the drums,
right?
And that was probably 85 or so. So I was like 9, 10 years old. Mm-hmm. But I actually grew up a metal kid. You know, I was listening to shit at that, you know, but like I said, I was like 9 years old, right? So I was like listening to like Iron Maiden and whatever would play on MTV, like Twisted Sister, and maybe you might see like a fucking Megadeth video or something, you know?
Yeah.
But my uncle, my dad's brother, he's a music critic for the LA Times.
Ooh.
And
the enemy.
Yeah. Yeah. So he would for birthdays and Christmases and shit, he would just basically just give us records that he had. Because he would always get like promo copies of shit, right? And,
right.
And so he was kind of the guy. It was like a combination of him and my older brother and sister's friends. Mm-hmm. It would be like, oh, okay, well, you know, Iron Maiden's cool, but you ever heard of Merciful Fate? And, you know, shit like that, like kind of bring me to the next level, you know?
For sure, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's something to be said for a fucking good uncle, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Because I had my uncles are Ross and Toby.
Okay.
Redheads, right? And they're the ones that gave me a bass and taught me Louie and sent me on my way because I showed interest in like 6th grade of wanting to fucking play bass, you know, and we were going to start our first band, Guillotine. Calm down. You know what I mean?
Nice.
And so that's how we, you know, but, you know, something to be said for that shepherd, you know what I mean? That shitty uncle that fucking just, hey, kid, here. And I want to be that shitty uncle for my nephews. And nieces, you know what I mean? Like, I'm always throwing them down shit, trying to get them involved in something cool, you know what I mean? And they all seem to be good kids, man. But it's so important, you know?
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah, same thing with him, too, is he played guitar. Back in the 60s, he played guitar in an acid rock band called the Electric Prunes.
Really?
And can you? Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah, dude. And they had like I had Too Much to Dream last night. That was like their big song.
No, I know. I'm very familiar.
So he played guitar.
Yeah, I'm very
okay.
My mechanic.
Yeah,
I worked construction for years on freeways. My mechanic for years is a guy named Rocco, and he is the current bass player for the Electric Prunes.
Oh shit! Oh.
Yeah, dude.
I gotta tell my uncle that.
He plays bass for him now.
Yeah, because he was. Wow, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's weird.
Are you there again?
Yeah.
He was with them briefly though. Like he was around for the I Had Too Much to Dream last night shit, but after that, you know, he went and he became a music journalist, you know,
Mm-hmm.
after that. So, but he was, you know, the cool uncle. And then, yeah. And like I said, it was like a combination of that. And, you know, I have a brother who's 5 years older than me and a sister who's 3 years older than me. Mm-hmm. And so all of their friends, you know, that were a couple years older than them even, right? They would be like, oh, you got to listen to this and you got to listen to that. And I eventually, and I was like one of those kids, I was never good at sports and any of that bullshit, you know? And mm-hmm. So when I was like, yeah, about 9 years old, I guess, it was a weird combination of, so there's all this stuff I start listening to. And then I remember like Motley Crue came out with the video. I don't even remember what song it was, but like Tommy Lee's like spinning upside down. He's like in this fucking contraption and he's spinning this, like, I learned how to spin drumstick before I ever learned a beat.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to do that. That's fucking cool. Mm-hmm. So I begged my parents to buy me a drum set off of some kid that lived up the street from us, and mm-hmm. he had like this like 1960s gold sparkly shit drum set for like $75-$80 or something like that. So I set it up in the garage, and my dad had his stereo out in the garage, so I'd put his records on, or I'd put on, you know, KLOS or whatever station, and mm-hmm. and I would just try to play along until it sounded like the beat to whatever song I wanted, like an AC/DC or some shit, right? Mm-hmm. And that's how I learned. Or I would even, like, during the summer, you know, when my parents would still have to go to work, but we were all home all day, I would set my drums up in the fucking living room and watch MTV.
Nice. Just play along.
Yeah, and I would watch what the drummers are doing and like, oh, okay, all right, this is the beat to that song. And
right.
Yeah.
It's so weird how I was thinking about this the other day, because, you know, my kids are always, I mean, I watch YouTube for everything too. It fucking everything's on there. You want to learn how to change a window regulator in a 07 Ford Escape. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was thinking the other day about how, because I was the same kid, you know, I would sit down and just watch Metallica or watch fucking Slayer, and just, you know, I'm a visual learner, dude. I don't learn well from a book. I learn well from people showing me, right? So I remember, like, MTV was basically the original YouTube for a lot of musicians, dude. Like, you know, first of all, you saw, that's how you got into other bands, whatever shirts they were wearing, whatever it was, you know what I mean? Like, there's something to be said when MTV was fucking awesome, you know what I mean, before it turned into just teen pregnancy, the teen pregnancy network, you know? I used to sit there all day and fucking wait for Headbangers Ball to come on at 12. And I would try to figure out all Pantera songs and all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? It was like the original YouTube. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like,
"Oh yeah,
I used to that." You know?
Yeah, I mean, I used to tape it, you know, on VHS tapes, man. And I probably still somewhere in my garage. I'm in my garage right now, actually. But I probably still have a box somewhere that has old fucking VHS tapes with hours of Headbangers Ball on it, you know,
man. It was good shit, man.
Yeah, but yeah, I used to do that, and I'd record it, and I'm like, you know, like a Danzig song or some bullshit would come on. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's fucking cool. And I would just like rewind and just learn the main riff, and then it's like, okay, where's he go from there? And shit. Oh yeah,
some roll that fucking happened. You know, you're like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? But then they, right in the middle of the good fucking musician part, they cut to the stupid singer. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Well, what is he doing? You know, like,
especially those Danzig videos too. It's like, oh, gotta make sure you get Glenn Danzig with his fucking hair blowing back.
Oh, dude, how much time do you think was actually allocated for Danzig in his own video? Like, do you think there was like a clause? He's like, I have to have, of the 5 minutes, I have to have 4.5 minutes of time in my own songs. You know I think there might even be a couple videos where it's just him. Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like there might be like one shot of like the band like all fuzzy in the background or something. But it's like
all blurred out.
It's all look at me.
it was all it was a picture of right before he was yelling at him. You know what I mean? Right before he fired the bass player for no reason.
Right.
Yeah. So you have a pretty healthy obsession with Misfits and the Danzig I see online all the time.
Yeah,
because what was it about them that really caught you? Are you a big monster guy? Are you a big fucking horror film guy?
Yeah, because like I said, you know, I started out with metal, and so around the time I started learning drums, so about two years into learning drums, when I got good enough to keep a beat and shit, then I'm like, okay, well, I want to learn guitar, but I'm left-handed, so
you are, me too, actually. Yeah.
Nice.
But I play right. No.
Yeah, you play right though. Yeah.
But you know, and the reason it goes back to the uncles. They fucking bought me a right-handed bass, and they're like, oh, I was like, dude, I'm left-handed, and they're like, you don't know how to play anyway, dude. Like, learn right-handed. They literally said, just learn right-handed. It's 10 times cheaper for equipment, and it's gonna be a problem later in your life. You know what I mean? And I ended up being in a band with a left-handed guitar player for years, and it was a fucking problem. I mean, it's 3 times more expensive for guitars.
Yep.
You can't find them. Good luck finding a cool one. You know what I mean? It's like, so yeah, I'm thankful that I ended up learning that way. You know?
Yeah, but not Well, see, when I started playing drums, just naturally, when I got my first drum set, I played. I don't know if you're familiar with the term open-handed.
Yeah. That's how I play on a right-handed set.
Yeah. So you hit the hi-hat with your left hand, the snare with your right, but you still set the rest of the drum set up like a right-handed kid, I guess. Right, you know. Right. Yeah, and the only big difference I have is I set my ride cymbal just up on a stand right next to my hi-hat. Yeah, so I can play my hi-hat and just kind of move over, and there's my ride.
Actually, that's a big step, because I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I used to have it.
Never in a million years thought to move my ride over. Would have made my life a lot easier.
I used to have it right in front of me.
Yeah.
For a long time, and then I would have just a crash on either side of that, you know.
Yeah.
But it just, you know, I have a big, like, fucking 22-inch ride cymbal, so it's like it's too much, and then it's like you accidentally hit it if you're fucking getting into your fills and shit. And it's like, so I just moved it over to the side there and put a little 16-inch fucking crash right there. You know. Yeah. But yeah, so around that same time, when, you know, I was like, okay, I felt I was good enough, like I can at least keep a beat on a drum set and shit, like, you know. And so I started teaching myself guitar, but around that same time I found thrash metal. And so this is like 87, 88, you know, so it was bands like SOD and Sacred Reich and Slayer, of course, you know, and around that same time is when Metallica put out the first the Garage Days regurgitated, whatever the fuck it's called. And and it only had like 5 or 6 songs on it, but it had a couple Misfits songs on it.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh, this is fucking cool. I like this shit.
And you never really heard of the Misfits before that? Like not much exposure to it at all?
Yeah, like I heard the name. I heard the name before, and like I said, you know, this is like 87, 88. So they were just, they were kind of at that point, because it was before Danzig.
Right. It was into Misfits, Danzig beginning.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is like Samhain period, I guess, you know, for him.
Right.
And so I had heard the name The Misfits and probably seen the shit like in Thrasher magazine and shit, because I think they were like selling skateboards at that point, right? And so I'm like, well, this is fucking cool. And I was like, oh, this is the Misfits. Okay. So I went and I found a copy of Walk Among Us, and I was just fucking hooked. And then from there, I discovered Samhain, and then like I said, like a year after that is when Danzig came out with his first album, and I was just hooked. I'm just like, this dude's fucking rad. I love everything this fucking guy does. And
Now, how do you? Okay, it's because obviously in punk rock, you know, the appeal of punk rock is that you can meet your heroes. They're not much better than you. You know what I mean? They're kids that figured it out like we did. You know what I mean? Danzig is a notorious prick. You know what I mean? So how do you? Because I deal with this. And I dealt with a couple episodes. I have 2 of my best friends, oldest friends, are Morrissey fucking freaks, and I hate the guy just because of his whole entire being. But like, and I don't hate Danzig. I can accept Danzig's bad behavior for some reason. I can't accept Morrissey's. But how do you can you easily separate it? Is it built into the ethos for you? Does it not bother you at all? Like, how does it work?
I mean, I've met him a couple times, and Like if you meet him kind of outside of I'm supposed to be Danzig,
yeah,
then he's actually pretty fucking cool.
I'm sure, like most people would be. You would assume, right?
Yeah, but if you meet him at like a signing or I even met him at Comic-Con once, and he's kind of has his on Glenn Danzig front to him,
right?
But I'm even friends with I'm friends with Steve Zing.
Okay.
You know, who he's currently in his band now. He and you know, he was in Samhain with that. I'm friends with Yuri Vaughn and stuff, and those guys are all cool as fuck. But he's I kind of separate it because it's like he, you know, like somebody like him, he kind of takes himself a little too seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but
does he? That's what I want to know. Like, does he?
Right.
Is he in on it? Is he fucking in on it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Morrissey takes himself serious. Like, I think that's a real deal. He really is a megalomaniac. Danzig, I don't know, dude. I think, you know, there's like a pastor that really believes his own bullshit. You know what I mean? Compared to like some guy that's fucking selling it, you know, your Joel Olsteins or whatever. Is he the Joel Olstein of punk rock, dude? I don't know. Like, is he?
That's the weirdest comparison to Danzig I've ever.
It just came into my head right now. I don't know.
That's fucking great.
But that's what I wonder. Like, is he in on it? Like, does he know he is he? You know what I mean? Has it come to full fruition? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I hope it does, because I really like Danzig. I like the Misfits. I like all that shit. And also, I'm able to separate, you know, the person from the music.
Yeah, exactly.
I've said it before. If we had to fucking ban every band that ended up getting fucking Me Too, we wouldn't be able to listen to music anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There would never be a fucking G.G. Allen or a Mentors or a fucking Guar or any of those fucking bands. Right.
You know, but I do wonder, like, is he in on it? He has to be kind of in on it, dude. You know?
Well, he is. I've talked to people that are kind of in his inner circle. You know, like I'm friends with the guy that runs all of his online stuff.
Okay.
And he's also his personal photographer.
Okay.
And he's told me flat out, he goes, oh, he's super aware of all the memes and shit that go around about him, you know?
Yeah, like,
and he goes,
he had to have seen the Henry and Glenn comics. Have you seen those? Those are so
I have one. I have one up here. Yeah.
Those are one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But then you hear he's like pissed about it. You don't know. You know what I mean? Like, you have to assume he's got a sense of humor about himself, dude.
Yeah, I mean, if he was that pissed about it, he would have fucking sued that comic company and blah blah blah, and all, you know.
Yeah.
So but he probably I'm sure he doesn't fucking like it, but at the end of the day, it's just, what are you going to do?
Right. I mean, it's still people talking about him. I mean, this guy, 50 years almost, has been able to sell fucking records. You know what I mean?
And if you're out there for public consumption, then you're out there to be criticized too.
It's part of the deal, yeah.
But see, a lot of the people, though, especially with the whole Danzig thing, is most of the people that make all those memes and shit about him, they do it because they love him.
Yeah. It's basically,
you know, and that's,
I could see that.
Yeah, and I'm kind of the same way with Kiss though too. You know, it's like is I love, you know, like 70s Kiss is fucking cool. I love 70s Kiss. But they're just so fucking easy to bag on too.
Oh, it's low hanging fruit, you know.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Danzig is. He's fucking low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
And I think he knows it. He doesn't like it because he would like to be taken more seriously as an artist or whatever.
Yeah.
So whatever, you know, whatever makes you sleep at night, you know. But
yeah, man. I mean, you know, anyone who's figured out to do exactly what they want, and that's why, you know, I talk to people like us that, you know, figured out how to do exactly what they want to do, balancing life and work and their fucking history in punk rock. You know, like, anyone that can figure that out, dude, and make a successful fucking living. I mean, look at the Misfits and their shows. Did the reunion shows I mean, they have to be making no less than $100,000 a fucking show.
Oh,
you know, and especially
easily.
40 plus years after your fucking career, you know, like,
right.
Hey, congrats to you, buddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's not even talking about the fucking merch. I mean, the Misfits are probably one of maybe 3 or 4 bands ever who have probably sold more T-shirts than albums. You know what I'm saying?
You're
it's like
probably right, dude.
Yeah, it's like probably like them, the Ramones and the Misfits, and maybe Nirvana at this point.
Maybe fucking the Rolling Stones, dude.
Yeah, with
like,
the tongue.
You're probably right, dude. I didn't even think about the merchandising. That's because the way they license that shit is fucking everywhere. It's on every single thing. You can wipe your ass with fucking Danzig Misfits toilet paper.
Right,
you know
exactly.
What I mean? Like,
right.
They've made it's like the Hello Kitty of fucking punk rock.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's the big joke too. Is like Jerry Only is the fucking Gene Simmons of punk rock. You know.
Yeah. Right. Which I mean isn't far off, but yeah. That's, I mean it's just a trip, man. But I always see that you're always posting Danzig Misfits shit online. And what really started me. Your meme game is strong, brother. I mean, on fucking Facebook, it's you're cracking me up all the time. I steal so many of them from you. I just want to apologize in advance.
I steal them all too.
Right. Well, I mean, no one's making them up, but a lot of those end up on the Get Heavy page. So you look on the Get Heavy page stories, fucking, I'd say a quarter of them are from you, bro. They're just good. The meme game's strong, dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, have you always? I mean. I know you work a normal job. You got teenagers, right? What do you do for? You work for like what, Pepsi or something? A beverage company? What do you work for?
Yeah. Yes, I work for the soda company that rhymes with Mepsi.
You mean not this one?
Not that one. I used to though. I worked there for about 4 years, and I've been with the other guys for about 15.
You switch sides, huh?
I switched sides. Yeah.
Now, is it a personal thing, or is it? I mean, are you a Pepsi guy, or are you a Coke guy? No.
Honestly,
I don't want to get you fired, dude. I don't want the Pepsi lords to come in.
Nah, when I drink soda, honestly, I drink fucking root beer. I drink A&W or
there you go.
Or
owned by Pepsi,
IBC. No, 7-Up.
Damn.
Actually.
7-Up.
Yep.
Fucking the ninjas of the soda game, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll probably be my next one. After Pepsi, I'll just be like, just kind of go down the line. I'll probably end up at like Jones Soda after the.
Now, is it unionized work? What is it? Or you're not a Teamster or nothing, right? It's not the part of a.
No, only the drivers.
Okay.
And the people in the warehouse.
Got it.
Are union. So I do merchandising, like basically on just a normal day I go into these stores and the drivers drop off the load and I have to fill the shelves and the coolers and then put the rest of that shit away in the back room.
Okay.
But then like when like Super Bowl and all that bullshit comes around, then I'm the guy that builds those big displays with the football or the NFL logo, or like for Halloween it's a pumpkin or some bullshit, right?
But here's the important question: so what beer companies do you get to fucking support? Any of them? Did they have anything to do with beer or none?
No,
nothing.
We don't have.
Damn,
we don't have. Yeah, we don't have anything alcoholic.
You're in the wrong business.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. They have like we have mixers. We have like Schweppes and shit, but
yeah.
Schweppes, yeah.
Sorry, hey, you want to get real shitty on your whole family?
Right.
Yeah.
But I do support all of my friends that there you go.
Coors guy. Guy.
Yeah. Josh Stamster's going to talk shit when he sees my Coors Light can.
Wow, hey, I mean, yeah. What is he, a Bud guy? Get out of here.
Oh no, he's a Pinkies Out beer kind of guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
IPA.
Yeah, he works at a brewery.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something to be said, man, for, when I go camping, when I'm outdoors, I'll drink some IPAs, but, if you're going for longevity, if you're going for stamina, for fucking, it's Coors all day for me, dude. That's camping beer. That's fucking, because you drink 6 IPAs and you're like, that's another thing. You can't fucking, like, you just can't sustain a life like that, what I mean? So.
Yeah, no, I can still function after fucking 6 Coors Lights.
Yeah.
Right,
Exactly.
12.
Yeah,
right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's a trip, man.
Yeah, I mean, every now and then I like my fucking fancy beers, everybody does,
Of course.
But it's not an everyday thing, It's like, yeah, if I'm just shooting the shit with somebody, I want to, Just like when I was in high school, I drink my cheap, shitty fucking beer and drink a 12-pack, and we'll talk about fucking 70s Judas Priest or some bullshit, right?
Rock and Roller, dude? What about Rock
Fuck yeah,
Roller,
dude.
bro? That's my favorite Priest album.
I got that shit up here, dude. I got all the 70s shit right up there behind me. Yeah.
It's something to be said for the third album of a band. I think it's third, right? Rock and Roller's third, maybe fourth.
No, Rock and Roll is the first one.
That's their first record? No.
Yep. Yeah, it was that.
Really?
Sad Wings of Destiny was their second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck, I was wrong then. Okay.
Yeah. It was Rock-a-Rolla, Sad Wings of Destiny, Sin After Sin, and Stained Class.
Okay, Rock and Roll is my favorite, dude.
Yeah, Rock and Roll, it's fucking badass, dude.
I spent a lot of time in that 70s world, you know what I mean? Getting your Sabbaths and your fucking, all the old underground fucking shit that no one ever heard of. Groundhogs, they're getting into the 60s and stuff like that. But
right.
All that psychedelic shit, all that prog rock stuff. My whole life was consumed with that shit for so long, And as you get older and you have kids and all you end up listening to is shit on YouTube from them, you know what I mean? It's like, fuck, man, you just get beat down. And now I literally can tolerate almost anything.
Yeah, my daughter, I have a 15-year-old daughter, and
oh, you do?
Yeah, she's like super into K-pop and shit right now.
Oh yeah.
Like that's like her shit.
Yeah.
But she'll just come out and surprise me with shit. Like a month or two ago, she just randomly texted me one night and she goes, "Dad, have you ever heard this old Billy Joel song from the 70s?" And she like sent me the YouTube link to the song Zanzibar. I'm like,
do I? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, how the fuck would you even know this? Like,
so random, dude.
Yeah, like I've never played it for her. I've never, it's
right.
like, how the fuck would you even know this?
Well, did you see me drunk at the bar doing karaoke? Is that
right? Something, yeah,
fuck?
Right.
Yeah. The kids are crazy, dude. I got a 13-year-old daughter, and I mean, oh boy, she's starting to put us through our paces right now. I'm sure it's not going to get any better, but. She's pretty hip kid. She listens to now like she's listening to Bikini Kill, all this like Riot Girl shit, which is pretty cool. And normally it's like she just liked what she liked, she'll it was a lot of fucking those YouTube game songs. It's like they'll do songs about Five Nights at Freddy and you're like, fuck, dude. And it used to just bum me out, but what I said, and I've had this conversation a bunch of times, but when you start looking at the downloads and the fucking views on some of those songs, you're like, oh, it has 2 billion views.
Right.
A song about a fucking random video game.
Yeah.
Has more views than any Rolling Stones song in history. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking crazy. And then you have to start kind of taking it for what it is, because it's like, well, obviously we're old, dude. Genres are dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I'm like excited because like a Robot Uprising video has like maybe like 120 fucking likes. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Oh yeah. And then,
yeah. And then
a kid takes a shit on a fucking laptop and it gets a fucking billion views, and you're like, okay, well, obviously this isn't my world anymore. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I guess all those tours in that van didn't mean anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. Like, goddamn, man.
But she, she trips me out though, because like she'll, like I saw her going through her Spotify on her phone one day, and she's got shit in there, she's got like Misfits and Fear and shit like that. But then she has like this like total, K-pop shit I've never even heard of. And I'm like, hey, fucking,
it's just such a trip.
You go.
Remember how when we, I'm a little younger than you, but when we were growing up, you weren't allowed to do that, dude. Like, you weren't allowed to fucking like Justin Timberlake and also fucking the Misfits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was not allowed, dude. Like, these walls that were up.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just such a trip now, because my daughter will sit here and she'll tell me about something, like some band that I've fucking been listening to for 20 years, and then immediately goes to something else. And it's just like the kids are so much more open to everything now. You know what I mean? And you just don't even... It's not even a fucking concern. You know what I mean? It's like, whereas before it was like, you were terrified that you were going to be called out as a poser. You know what I mean? Like, if you didn't know your shit and you weren't the most staunch fucking believer in whatever genre of music,
But in the same token, though, like for us growing up, you know, like in the '90s and shit, like we had to literally seek things out.
Right.
You know, like there would be a friend of a friend of a friend that had a third generation copy of, you know, I don't know, like the fucking Screamers album,
right.
or some Screamers, because they didn't really have an album, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
But or like shit like that, where it's just like you had to seek it out. But now everything's a fucking click away.
It is. It's true. So I think it's, maybe that is a big part of why it's opened up everyone's world, you know, what I mean, to whatever, you know.
Yeah, because like I said, like my daughter, if I look up her Spotify playlists and shit, like, I mean, she's, like I said, you know, she's got like Metallica and Nirvana and Misfits and Fear, even. Like, that kind of surprised me. She has Fear on there. I'm like, fuck, all right.
Yeah.
You know, but in the same token, she has like a lot of like super poppy stuff that's popular now too, and because that's just, you know, she's 15, so but she just absorbs all of it,
right? And
there aren't, I guess there aren't those walls for them anymore.
No, dude.
You know, there isn't like I'm the punkest of rock. You know, if you didn't get personally punched in the fucking head by Henry Rollins in 1983, then you're not punk rock.
Right.
Like there's like none of that bullshit anymore.
Yeah, if you didn't have a heroin addiction from 84 to 89, you're not fucking a true believer. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yes, thanks. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, so I think there's just none of that anymore. It's just, you know, oh, if it's good to my ears, it's good to my ears.
Yeah, and that's what it took me fucking 38 years to learn. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Before, you know, I would reject shit on principle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and now it's like, oh, that's a good song, dude. It's a fucking good song. I can't believe I didn't listen to it for 30 years.
Right.
You know?
And I'm still set in my ways in a lot of ways, but I even kind of surprise myself at some of the shit that I'm into now. Like, I can, you know, like going back to what you were saying, it's like, you know, I grew up, like, my parents would play shit like Fleetwood Mac and and shit like that growing up. And so I've always been aware of it, and I guess I've always liked it.
Yeah.
You know, but as a 45-year-old man now, I can freely
really
admit,
Rumors.
it's like I like Fleetwood Mac Rumors, and if you don't, then, you know, fuck off. You know, right?
I mean, it's just not. As you get older, man, your tolerance for any bullshit or anyone else, honestly, that your tolerance for anyone else's opinion just goes fucking, starts getting down, and that's why we're in the position we're in. You know what I mean? Because old people are fucking ignorant and they don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, right. I mean, we're right there. We're basically the future Trump supporters. You know what I mean?
I don't know about that.
Well, you know, in theory, you know, just like, you kids don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You know
right.
I mean? I have to actively like talk myself down from that shit a lot of time. You know what I mean? And like, oh God, just remember, like, this isn't your world anymore, dude.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's their world at this point. You've done all the damage you could do for your generation. Now it's on them to fix it, apparently. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But
so let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So are your kids like actually like into any of the stuff you do with any of the bands that you play in?
So what really opened it up was Dad Brains. Dad Brains really, because before, you know, in the Wrath, it's like they were young, they had never been, like, you know, they had seen us once, but it's chaos watching the Wrath, you know, back in the day.
Right.
Dad Brains really is what opened it up, you know what I mean? And my boy has an absolute interest in playing bass. He plays bass. He's going to be doing band at Cabrillo. You know, but they also, you know, my daughter is like incredibly artistic and, you know, stubborn and bullheaded like I am, you know what I mean? And hyper focused to like a degree where you're like, well, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to talk her down from whatever it is that she's going to do. But as far as music goes, like, me and my wife, Rosie, met at Salzer's. You know what I mean? We're both huge music fans. They've had music in their lives their whole entire lives. You know what I mean? Like, we turn off the TVs and we listen to music, you know, and at the point now where they get to all pick songs, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's cool. It's really opened everything up because it's not just me going, oh, you guys got to hear this, you guys got to hear this, or Rosie, you know, she's a fucking like a massive audiophile with, I mean, she can make a playlist off of one theme. Again, she did it at Salters for years. It was like tonight's theme is fucking breakups, and she'd make everyone at the record store pick their breakup songs or whatever.
That's super cool. I love that.
Yeah, she's always been very like, I mean, when it comes to soul, when it comes to R&B, when it comes to fucking old rock, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, hip hop. She's big into hip hop. Well, yeah. What's up, bud?
Can I get a protein shake?
No. Bye. No. You already had one, didn't you?
I don't know.
Okay, take one and get out of here. I love you. These kids, dude. Podcast at the house, you know what I mean?
I hear you. I had to. Hi.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a dad brain shirt on?
Yeah, he's been stealing he steals all my old band shirts now, dude. So
Nice.
it's pretty cool. But you know, it's cool though, because when we do listen to music in the car rides, whatever, you know, everyone gets an opportunity to play their song, you know what I mean? Which is cool, and it's a big important part, you know. There's been many times that I have to hold back on telling them that I'm actually fucking cool. And you know what I mean? Like the stuff I'm into is cool. And they're like, yeah, dude, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, you guys don't understand. Like, I'm actually fucking, I was cool. I was like a cool dude for a long time. You know what I mean? Yeah, but now it's just, you know, but Dad Brains is what opened it up. Involving the kids, putting them in the videos. That stuff really did it. And it's only because it's a dad fucking kid band. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what opened it up, dude. I mean, before that, they were too young. They don't give a shit. I think when they get a little older, maybe they'll kind of see what it was, you know. But even in tongue, like, they don't. My newer band, like, they don't have any fucking interest in it at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they know it's me, but I'm yelling, so they hear me yell at them all day. That like they want to hear it on a record.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, my daughter's kind of like that too. It's like, you know, like she's seen me play a couple times, you know, like I even took her the big show that we played at Ventura Theater. We opened for TSOL and Flipper and all that shit.
Right, yeah.
And so I took her to that. I got her on the list so that she can go backstage and kind of like, you know, hey, this is what Dad does type thing, you know, and she was kind of cool with it. I think she was just kind of more stoked that she was backstage at the Ventura Theater.
Right.
I guess.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
but kind of all in all, like I'll tell her about like, you're like, oh, hey, you know, Dad gets to go record at fucking Dave Grohl's studio or some bullshit, right? Shouldn't give a fuck.
No, yeah.
She's like, yeah, okay, Dad, you're cool. Okay, boomer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a fucking dork, Dad, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I don't know, though. I mean, it is important, I think, to, you know, for our kids to, you know, obviously you work a job, you have to pay rent, you pay the bills, you raise these kids, you do what you got to do. You know, if you're lucky enough to make that your living, fucking congratulations.
Right.
It's not going to be for most of us, you know, but I think it's so important for your kids to be able to see you have passion in something. You know what I mean? That's because I mean, you see a lot of parents. I mean, how many parents do you see that just their whole life is their work and fighting with their kids? You know what I mean? And it's like, God, man, like, you know, and I have the tendency where I can let my shit fucking take over. You know what I mean? Whether it's being in 4 bands, it's being fucking doing this podcast. You know, it's like that time it does get sucked away. You know, but I think it's so important. I think I'm saying this in hopes that our kids look back on our lives and think like, fuck, man, at least they got to do some cool shit that they wanted to do.
Yeah, you know? And I always convey that to her too. You know, I said this is what Dad, because she likes to draw. She's actually a really good artist.
Right.
And I tell her, I said it doesn't matter if you ever make a dime off of it.
Yeah.
I said none of that matters. I said we don't have a fucking guitar-shaped swimming pool, right? Like Lars Ulrich's not fucking hanging out poolside, right?
Yeah, for
fucking,
sure.
Right. So I told her, I said it's just something you have to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I told her, I said music's my art, and that's just something I just have to do. It's just it's my hobby, but it's my passion, and it's my but at the end of the day, of course, yeah, I'm still dad and I'm still whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I told her that, but I said, but if it's your passion, don't let anything stop you from that. Don't, if you ever think to yourself, oh, I'm not going to make any money off of it. I told her, I said, Vincent van Gogh never made a dime in his lifetime. None of his shirts sold until after he died, really.
Of course. Yeah.
And I told her, I said, but he had the passion, and he had to paint, and he had to do this,
he was possessed with passion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with it, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
it just, you have to develop that, you know what I mean? Like, and it has to be worked on, and it can't be, there's no shortcuts, you know what I mean? To learn a skill, to learn any of that shit, you have to put the time in, you know what I mean? Like, and I do struggle with that with my own kids, because they want instant. If it's hard the first time, my boy tends to want to quit, and it's like, dude, I'm trying to really, I'm just beating it out of him, physically and emotionally. No, I'm just kidding. No, but no, you really want to, you got to, my boy's trying to learn how to ollie right now. And I'm like, it's going to be, you need to do it 1,000 times. And he's like, ha ha ha. And I'm fucking serious, dude.
Yeah.
1,000
times. And
you might not still be good at it. You know what I mean?
And you're going to fall. You're going to eat some shit. You might scrape up your fucking elbow, but you get back up and you go, all right, well, I don't want to scrape my elbow anymore. So
I'm going to really commit on this one. You know what I mean? It's because most of that failure is I found that most of my failures in life are from me half-assing it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like every time I failed miserably, it's because I didn't put everything into it. Whether it was skateboarding, trying to fucking fly down an H-stair, whether it was being in a band, trying to, I never tried to make it, you know what I mean? But being in a band and making that decision that it was either going to be all or nothing, you know what I mean? And I had to eventually roll it back because I realized I couldn't give it my all. You know what I mean? I could not fucking sacrifice my family for this thing that I like to do. You know what I mean? But, that every time I've ever failed is because of fear of not commitment, not doing it. You know what I mean? Right. And so that's what I always try to get my kids to understand, that most of fucking trying is failing, 90% of it. When you see these skate videos and you see this killer vignette of all these incredible tricks.
Yeah. How many times did it take?
What you really want to watch is the bail section. Then see if you really want to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. You watch this guy hit his head 16 times on the fucking ground. Yeah. That's skateboarding, dude. That's fucking playing music. That's, you know what I mean? That's everything you want to follow. That's doing a drawing 700 times and hating every one of them. You know what I mean? Until you're like, finally.
Yeah. And then that one time you're just like,
fucking frame it,
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, it's hard, man. I mean, the fatherhood thing is just this, but I think it's just cool that we get to be able to, and I think that's the benefit of, punk rock. It's the benefit of fucking knowing what trying is, knowing what following your passion is. I think it's a huge benefit of that, and I just don't think a lot of people get to experience it,
Right.
And if you can even put fucking 25% of that thought into your kids, you hope that they're going to figure it out,
Yeah. And that's, and saying that too, especially with our local punk rock community here.
Yeah.
It's just such an open, just warm, just everybody's buddies,
Right. Yeah.
And for instance, if we go and we play at a bowling alley or something somewhere, right? And it's all ages. So yeah, we'll bring the kids and
totally make it a thing.
Yeah. And it's just, everybody's open, everybody's hanging out. My kids are hanging out with so-and-so's kids and vice versa. And,
do you feel like that's unique to Ventura and Oxnard? Or do you feel like it's like that ever? Because I feel like it's super unique to this town. I don't know. But, I didn't grow up. I grew up, in the desert, but
right.
I moved here when I was 10, so.
Yeah.
But same thing with us. Every fucking party is 20 kids, no matter, you know what I mean? No matter
right.
what, but I feel like it's so unique to Ventura because it's not LA. It's not fucking San Francisco. You know what I mean? It's not these scenes that are.
Yeah, we're far enough.
Maybe we're just small enough to be tight. I don't know what it is. What do you think it is?
I think it's a lot of that. It's like, we're what, an hour outside of LA. And so I think, with that, like, there's that LA allure, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have all that weird superficialness.
Right.
If that's even a fucking word.
I feel like,
but,
yeah, no.
but
I feel like it really, kooks, and I'm saying kooks get weeded out fast. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
If you come in this town with some LA fucking bullshit hangups,
yeah,
you're gonna get
right. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't
like,
know,
get the fuck out.
Yeah, I mean, you might last a while, but you better adapt real quick and drop that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because nobody,
no one's got time for it.
Yeah, nobody's walking around this town with their fucking balls in a wheelbarrow,
Right. Yeah.
Like fucking look what I got. Oh, fucking no. Yeah, nobody's like that here. We're just like we're just mellow, and
yeah.
And I think maybe a lot of that maybe just kind of has to do with the beach town mentality of it.
Yeah.
Where it's more just laid back, and we have, well, except for tonight where it's all gray, but usually we have, pretty bitchin' weather, and
right.
And yeah, and so it's just a more just kind of laid back attitude, and at the same time, like, we're all connected too. Like, we all know each other in some way. Like you and I, for instance, like, we haven't really hung out and fucking talked.
King, take the dog out, please, and go with you, and go. Sorry, I love you, man. I did. It's very cool. I'll check it out later. Anyway, dogs, kids. But yeah,
right.
You were saying. I'm sorry, you were saying.
Oh yeah, but we're all connected. Like,
mm-hmm.
all of us in the and even in saying that even goes beyond punk rock, even, really. I mean, like, like you're in a band with Bill Benson now, and
right, yeah,
and he's been in tons of metal bands and shit too,
mm-hmm.
and but we're all connected. We all are, yeah. Like I was saying, like, you and I, we haven't really sat down and shot the shit, but we've probably known each other 20 years.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
In 100 different versions,
right.
of ourselves. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a trip, dude. And I did want to ask, how terrible is it being Bill's neighbor? I mean, it's got to be a fucking. Yeah.
I actually saw him. He drove past me earlier. I went and stopped at the store to get some beer, and he drove past me earlier, and we just flipped each other off.
Yeah, what a he's a beautiful asset, man.
I love Bill, man.
Yeah.
He's such a fucking great dude.
Yeah, I saw him come in the Eddie costume on the other podcast that you did.
Oh, him and his son, yeah.
So silly.
That was great. I know. I should have texted him. I'm like, hey, I'm doing a thing with Craig tonight.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, it's a trip, dude. I mean, I just think I feel like it's so uniquely Ventura. Maybe there's other communities that are like the same, but you're not going to find that in LA. You're not going to find it in San Francisco. You're not going to find it fucking anywhere. I feel like, you know what I mean? Just
right.
The camaraderie, and everyone's cool. I mean, I can't remember a show where there was an actual real problem. You know what I mean? Like a real problem where you're like, where it's like some outside force comes in. It wasn't like the 90s. Like, the 90s was a wild fucking time in Ventura, because there was these sects of people, and fucking, you got these skinhead sects and all these people that are fucking bombing on shows. It just has not been like that in 20 years, dude. And there's a little outlier of these things, but I can't think of one time where, if there was a problem, it wasn't immediately handled internally, and that fucking fool was thrown out, and there was no other thing of it. It didn't turn into a knife fight in a parking lot or a gun shootout, or you know what I mean? It just seems so uniquely Ventura. I don't know what it is, but
I mean, there are some people around here that,
of course,
kind of have their drama and bring their drama just everywhere they go. That's just how they live. It's like those types of people. Like, okay, for instance, like I was watching your interview with Bobby Wilcox before this.
Yeah.
He
was a problem.
I fucking love Bobby.
Yeah.
I fucking love Bobby Wilcox. But I was, and he was telling the whole flamethrower story and fucking spitting the fire at the guy and shit. And but he touched on something in his interview about like, people in this town that are just kind of drama, but in the same sense where you can just kind of read people like a book.
Oh yeah.
And I've always liked to think that I've been pretty good at that. And when you just know, when you just catch a vibe, like the second somebody walks into a room, like it's like a fucking dust devil,
Right. Yeah.
And it's just everything about their entire just presence.
Yeah.
Is just fucking drama. Like they're on the phone screaming at somebody while they're looking for something, and they're fucking like there's 1,000 fucking things going on, right? And you're just like, and you just fucking roll your eyes at these people, and you're just like, and they're like probably even well into their 30s at this point. And
yeah,
shit.
man.
You're just like, are you ever going to grow out of, Yeah, we've been at a junior high for quite some time. You know?
I mean, and you know what? I got to remember too that's some people's best time in their life, dude. You know what I mean? Like, and for me, high school was not bad. It wasn't, I didn't get picked on. I was I wasn't the popular guy, but I was okay with everyone. You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't anyone I had problems with. But I do remember that you meet some people now years later that they talk about high school like it was the best thing that ever happened in their life, and you go, wow, how fucking sad, dude.
Yeah, they just peaked out at 17, and you're like,
yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, I grew up in a lot of trauma, a lot of chaos, a lot of fucking, all that stuff that I just took as this is life, you know what I mean? And years later, it's, I realized, the things I put on my kids that are like absolutely trauma based, you know what I mean? Like my hangups and all my shit, but you just you think about it, and I have family members that are still in this whole lifestyle too, but hopefully they all seem to be pulling out of it pretty good now, but just years of shit, of abuse, of fucking all these things, and and you just wonder, like, what does it take to fucking just be done with that shit? Like, how do you change the person you are? You know what I mean? And I think back a lot of the times, the fact that like people don't realize that you're allowed to change. Like, you're allowed to recreate yourself. You're allowed to fucking try harder.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's okay if you like Fleetwood Mac. It's okay.
For sure, man. Like,
right.
Yeah. That one touchdown you got in fucking the Cougars Buena game in 2001 is not the best thing that you've ever done. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, dude. Like,
no, and that's probably, and I don't know if it's me being maybe an outsider to actually living in Ventura, because I've only lived in Ventura since I want to say 2003.
Oh, okay.
Because like I said, I grew up in Camarillo, but I went, in my early 20s, I lived down in Burbank for a while, and kind of moved all over, and,
right,
and shit. But I've been here in Ventura since 2003. But it is kind of one thing I've noticed is a lot of people in this town, it's like I don't know, I might feel like I'm talking some shit, but whatever. I don't give a fuck. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
but
who's listening?
But a lot of them, it's almost to the point where maybe some of them have too much dirt on each other. Like they've known each other. They've all known each other since the first day of kindergarten. It's like, and they're all like 38 now. It's like, oh, but I remember when she pissed her pants in kindergarten or some bullshit, and it's and it's like,
well, what is that though? That's you. That's your insecurity. You know what I mean? Like, that's a weird one to bring up, because it's like, if you haven't allowed yourself to be a real piece of shit and then figure out how to not be a piece of shit, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna be the person that's gonna throw that shit back in someone's face, like, that's you. That's all you, man. That's your insecurity talking. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, but maybe it's me just not wanting to be called out on my bullshit. You know what I mean?
And it could be me too. I could be looking at that as super judgy, whatever. I don't know. I haven't I'm not a fucking therapist. I don't, but
yeah. Well, I am.
Yeah, but I am.
Doctorate in therapy. So.
Yes. but that's just kind of one thing I've noticed, and maybe that's kind of the bad side to the small town mentality.
Right. Everyone knows each other too well.
A little too well.
I could see that. Yeah.
Which also falls in line with, there's some people that have peaked at 17 years old.
Right. Yeah.
And that's all they're ever going to fucking be mentally. And, so they're just it's just going to be this circle of bullshit their whole fucking lives.
Right. Yeah.
Until they either figure it out or don't.
And I had to actively try not to be that. You know what I mean? Like, and I still try every day. Like, I don't, for years I was the guy with a fucking huge beard. You know what I mean? And at one point I just decided, like, dude, who am, like, am I this guy? Am I really this guy? You know what I mean? So I shave it down. Then you can't stare at yourself for a while. And then you know what I mean? It's like, or fucking, take a psychedelic trip and see what the fuck, where are you? You know what I mean? Like, if you're not actively checking in with yourself at this point, and especially in this culture of mental, I think it's like, it's gone too far, like mental health. Like, it's too far. Like, we understand people are fucking struggling. Stop it. So, I think the awareness is out there at this point. Why doesn't everyone just shut the fuck up now and like work on themselves? Like, instead of just saying like, all my trauma and this and that. It's like, yeah, dude, I get it. Like, my trauma is not even close to as bad as yours. It's not a goddamn competition. So why don't you try to be a fucking decent human for a while? Right. You know what I mean? Instead of blaming everything that happened on your trauma, on this fucking absolute goal to express to everyone how much craziness you've gone through in your life, Right.
And I think the flip side of that, though, too, is I wouldn't say so much mental health facilities, but maybe, I guess, in some cases, but seeking out, so maybe someone does have a fucking problem and they need to address it. They need to find a psychiatrist or whatever. It's so fucking hard nowadays to get that kind of help.
Yeah. I mean,
and that's kind of the flip side of the coin of that, because I remember growing up, I grew up in the shadow of the Camarillo State Hospital.
Right. Yeah. The scary dairy, right?
My very first fucking job when I was 16 years old, I washed dishes in the main kitchen at the fucking state hospital.
While it was operating?
Yeah.
Ooh, let's hear about that.
It didn't last too long. It started out as a community service thing. Because I was one of those kids. But
old Cromelin got in some trouble, huh?
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it started out as a community service thing when I was 16. Mm-hmm. But I strangely liked it. I'm like, I can do this. I can.
Yo, these are my people, dude.
Yeah, fuck. I'm home. Fuck.
I heard they did shows there. I heard Fear played a show there, right? Is that true? At a straight up mental hospital.
I met Lee Ving years and years ago. This band I played drums in the 90s. We opened up for them at Ventura Theater.
The Fangboy?
Was it Fangboy? No. This was another band I was in. But we opened up for Fear at the theater. This is late 90s, like 97, 98. And so my whole goal for the night was, I'm going to have a beer with Fear. Like just like the song. Yeah, I'm going to have a beer with Fear. So my guitar player and we went up to the bar and I ordered 2 beers and we march up to Lee Ving's dressing room. I knock on the door and I give him my whole fucking, I was like 21, like minutes past fucking 21, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, hey, dude, I'm sure you probably get this all the time, but I'm a huge fan. I just want to say I had a beer with Fear. And so I start to hand him the beer and he looks at me, he goes, brother, I haven't had a drop in 17 years. So I'm like,
oh,
fuck. Yeah, womp womp. So I fucking
Joe, can I just chug it in front of you?
yeah. So I hand that
Yeah.
that extra beer over to Danny, my guitar player,
Uh-huh.
and he goes. And as I'm doing that, leaving, he has his leaving vest on, right?
Uh-huh.
And he fucking reaches in his pocket and he pulls out a big fat fucking joint. And he goes, "But I still smoke a ton of weed." And I don't really smoke pot. Like it's just kind of never been my thing. But I'm just like, well, I guess I'm gonna fucking smoke pot with leaving.
Like if you pulled out a bag of heroin, you probably would have.
Right. I'm just like, oh, I guess I'm shooting up with leaving.
I guess I'm a junkie now. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so we hung out with them and we were asking them stories and about like, hey, is that song Camarillo? Is it like about the state hospital and shit? And he told us the whole story about how they played a show there and all that shit.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's amazing, man. I mean, my wife went to college here and we would sneak around at night and go down and fucking go into the children's wards. What a trippy. I mean, for those of you who've never been or heard about it, I mean, basically, it is the rumor that Hotel California is about that song, right? I mean,
right.
Or about that place. It was a massive, a crazy asylum essentially, and
I think it opened up at like in the 30s or something.
Right? Yeah,
too.
They had a huge children's ward of all the kids that were born from the patients. If you went down into the basements, my wife said that there was as much below ground as there was above. You know what I mean? And like they found the autopsy rooms and the fucking all kinds of shit in the morgues and just some wild shit over there, man.
Wow.
But when they closed that shit down, you know what I mean? It changed the world, I guess.
Yeah, and it's trippy because I mean, there's kids from all over the world that go there now.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure they know the rumors, but I don't know how much of it is built out. I don't know how much of it's gone. You know what I mean? I haven't been there.
A lot, like most of the main buildings are still there.
Really?
But then they've just kind of built on like around the main buildings too.
Right.
But some of the main buildings are just kind of just offices and shit. And...
Right. Can you imagine that? I mean, are you a ghost guy? Do you believe in spirits? I was gonna ask, are you an aliens guy? Are you a ghost guy? Are you superstitious? Or what's the deal?
So I grew up very unique.
Okay.
So my mother was a fairly well-known psychic medium.
What?
Yeah, so she's been on TV and books and shit.
Really?
Yeah, so that was her whole deal. So growing up, like we used to have, it was like the first Friday of every month, I think it was, where she would have like a big party at our house and invite all of her psychic friends and other people, but there were like celebrities that would show up too. Like I don't know if you remember Rod Roddy from The Price is Right.
I mean,
he was
vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, he was the announcer guy. He was like a kind of fat guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, so and so, come on down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he was that guy. So he used to fucking show up all the time.
Whoa.
Zelda Rubinstein, who played the psychic in the Poltergeist movies.
Okay. Yeah.
Dude,
she
became
that chick's in your house.
She became friends with my mom. Yeah,
Hey,
and she used to fucking show up.
Oh no.
Yeah, so we had all these fucking people like once a
Really?
month. Like my parents would have this party, but it would always. So she always kind of wanted us to just hang out in our bedrooms and like
disappear.
right? But we'd always fucking sneak out. What the fuck's going on? Because they would always end every night. Every little party, they would end it with a seance at our fucking dining room table, like where we have like Thanksgiving dinner and shit, dude.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. So.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, but
I'm so glad I asked you this question. Oh my god, I'm so glad.
Yeah, it's a little known Cromelin fact.
There you go. That's what we're talking about over here, dude.
But yeah, I don't honestly, I don't really talk about it that often. But yeah, but my mom, she was in that world, like she's not, fucking Sylvia Brown famous or anything, but in that world, but she's been on TV and
she's a household name
and shit, right?
Okay, so they're doing seances. I mean, have you seen weird shit? What's going on?
I've seen some shit. So when you know, like I said, my brother and sister are a few years older than me, so they used to go with my mom on, because she would also do like paranormal investigations and shit.
God.
And
awesome.
So she would have like my brother and my sister like be the camera person or something, some shit like that when she would go. And then when I got old enough, like maybe 14, 15, you know, she took me along a couple times too. And I've seen some shit. So I have, but in saying that though, like I have mixed feelings about all of it.
Okay.
Is because she used to, like, when she wasn't doing that stuff just for extra cash and stuff, she would do like tarot card readings,
sure, yeah,
shit like that, right? And so and I would kind of watch, you know, like oh, I'm getting a bowl of cereal, Mom, but I would be like fucking kind of watching, you know.
Yeah.
And there's some of it I think's fucking bullshit,
right? Yeah.
And just kind of knowing how to read somebody and their body language and stuff like that, and just being attuned to that.
There's a whole art, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And I mean, because they've had psychics like teach shit like that to people like in the FBI and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
You know,
they made a whole division off of it. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
where just teaching them how to read people's body language and shit like that. So and knowing that, I'm just like, okay, well, how much of this is bullshit?
Was it impossible to lie to your mom? I mean,
right.
She's all, right. I don't think so, buddy. You're all, fuck. yeah.
Actually, it kind of was.
Dude, it has to be, right? She's all, I can tell by the way you twitched your eye, you're lying, motherfucker. You're all, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Boy. She's all, not only that, I sent a spirit after you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but you know, and there's some of it, like she would go into the whole mumbo jumbo. You know, she was very new agey, you know, and so she'd go into the whole mumbo jumbo about spirits and all this stuff. And my personal take, and some of it was even some of the bullshit she would spew, whether she believed any of it or not. But I personally believe that we all leave an energy behind.
Okay.
It's not like fucking ghosts like we see in movies.
No,
like
I'm a big believer in that. Like you can imprint your energy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you know.
For sure. Yeah.
But I think every single one of us, you know, even your fucking cat, even a mouse that you fucking saw run across your fucking kitchen one time or something, you know, we all leave an energy behind.
Okay. Do you think it's accessible? Can you get it? Can you tap into that energy? Or do you believe that your mom has like had any amount of that power? Like to really be able to read that? Like, cause I'm a firm believer in intuition. I'm a firm believer in, you know what I mean? Like, you know, that whole thing where you think about someone and they call, my mom's famous for shit like that. I've always called my mom a witch. Cause she fucking, I mean, you think about her too hard, she'll call you, dude. Like, you know, she knows what you're doing before you do it. You know, there's countless stories of her doing shit where you're like, how did you know that was going to happen, dude? You know, whether it was me and her trying to find my sister at a party in Ventura, to her saving her ex-boyfriend's life in a hotel from killing himself off of a whim. You know what I mean? Like, I believe there is that shit, but I don't know if you know me from the past, but I was like a firm believer in Christianity from about 14 to 18. You know what I mean? And so I was dead set on spirituality and all this shit. But, you know, years later, you step away from it, you get some pussy, you're fucking, it's like, whoa, boy. Yeah. You know? But do you believe she had an actual ability to contact that energy?
I honestly think that we all do.
Okay.
And it's just a means of learning how to tap into it the same way as you would learn how to play drums or guitar or learn how to read people's body language like a fucking Dr. Seuss book.
It's a learned skill, you think?
Yeah.
Do you think there's people that are more in tune naturally?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
So maybe she was that type of person. Did you have a dad?
Yeah.
What did he think? Was he like, this is bullshit?
No, he was all cool about it.
Yeah.
You know, he never really expressed exactly how he felt about it, because my dad So my dad and my uncle were first generation Americans.
Okay.
And
from
that's a whole other story.
So
my grandparents on my dad's side, my grandmother, she was born in Poland and she fled the Nazis.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And met my grandfather in Wales, and then they moved to America, whatever. And so my dad and my uncle are first generation Americans, but they were raised like they went to Catholic school from kindergarten to fucking senior year of high school, right?
When you get here, they're like, you're going to change your last name because we can't pronounce it, and also you believe in Jesus. You're like, I guess I do. Fuck.
Yeah. So she, like to this day, I don't even know if she was actually Jewish or not.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But because when she married my grandfather, she adopted his religion, was Catholicism, and so, but I mean, you had to flee Poland for a reason,
right?
In the late 30s, right?
I heard it was getting rough around there.
Yeah. So
something going on. I don't know. I'm not sure what it was.
Yeah. So there's probably some Jewish in my family there. Yeah. And
podcast is over, so that's good. I'm just kidding. Free Palestine, motherfucker! Oh,
right. Right. But anyway, but they raised my dad and my uncle, old school, old world Catholic.
Okay.
Right. So, be afraid of everything. Fucking. Yeah. So I think there kind of might've been a little bit of that with my dad.
Okay.
Like he kind of didn't want to understand it.
But I mean, he was okay with it enough to allow seances in the house. There's fucking now you got ghosts and ghouls running through the walls. I mean, what the fuck?
Right, but
he's fine with that.
Right, but the hippie free love part of him was just like, yeah, dude, let's go for it. And
that's crazy, dude. Yeah. What a trip. I mean, do you ever see shit fly across the room? I mean, what are we talking about here?
I've seen people get physically harmed.
Really?
Yeah. It's
by something.
Yeah, it's a trip. I mean, no, there was one time in particular, we went out to this place way out in Simi Valley, like way out like by the Santa Susana Pass, like
Spawn Ranch. Is that what it was?
It was around like right off of Cooner or whatever that street's called, right? Like that neighborhood. And it was a cop and his wife, and they were fucking around with a Ouija board, and they had claimed that they had contacted, Billy the Kid and Jesse James, or no, was it Jesse James or somebody else? I remember one of them was Billy the Kid.
Okay.
So at first my mom was like, okay, whatever.
Right, buddy. Yeah.
But my mom would always at least like kind of go and make like a physical appearance just to see if it's bullshit or not. If if she should forget these people's numbers, or if she should like actually like look into this shit.
Yeah.
So we went one night and they had the Ouija board out, and then they were talking to, supposedly Billy the Kid, and he, he spelled out on the thingy, "Are you a lawman?" to the husband, right?
Okay.
And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, or he says, "Yes, I am," or something like that. And then it spelled out like I will kill you or some bullshit, And so we're like, oh, okay, and like maybe 30 seconds after that, he all of a sudden he got it and he's like, ow, fuck. And he gets up and he goes, I have something. I felt something. And so he lifted up his shirt, and on his back, like I guess where his shoulder is, he had like a little, like, I guess, bullet. Yeah. Like a welt.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah. So
and you're there?
he could have had it prior, you know, and that's kind of the skeptical bullshit artist,
right?
You know, it's like, okay, well, you know, they could have done that, you know, fucking 45 minutes before we showed up, and then all of a sudden he's going to act it out. And,
yeah.
You know, but you know, I was.
But also maybe
like
Billy
16.
the Kid tried to kill a cop, dude. You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah. The ghost. Right. Well,
so
because
much funner.
because
so
my
much
mom
funner to believe.
Yeah, so because my mom, she would always like research that stuff too, like beforehand to try to, and she did find out that Billy the Kid did, for a short period of time, he was hiding out in the hills, like around like Moore Park, Simi Valley area.
Weird,
he was hiding out in the hills. Yeah.
What a trip, dude.
Yeah,
that's crazy stuff, man. I mean, you know, I don't care one way or the other if they exist. I've been in many situations through spirituality and Christianity that I've seen stuff that I cannot explain. I felt shit that I cannot explain. You know what I mean? Like, besides the fact that in, you know, like in worship or all these things, when you get a group of people with the same mindset, chanting, doing, singing, all these things, you know what I mean? That maybe it is possible that the power of the mind can move into a different fucking realm. You know what I mean? Like, and I've experienced that. And I've experienced it during a Native American sweat. I've experienced it during fucking, you know, religious ceremonies, all this shit. I got really into like Rosicrucian, it's like this fucking wild, like, it's not witchcraft, but it's like this old ancient like Christianity essentially, but it's a lot of based on meditation and intuition and opening yourself up for, you know, shit like that. But you know, I've experienced some things that I cannot explain even to this day. You know what I mean? Like feelings, situations, whatever. So, but I do wonder, like, if people are naturally born with this, or if it's, you know what I mean? Like, and I mean, for you to grow up in it, but you feel generally like mostly skeptical on most of it. I mean,
yeah, I'm kind of, you know, like I said, I've seen my shit. You know, and there's shit that I just can't, like I said, like that whole story. I could
pick it apart in your brain.
I could pick it apart in my brain. And I was like 16 when that happened, but I can like, okay, well, maybe they planned that in, you know, like, oh, fucking hit me with this ball peen hammer or some bullshit in my fucking back, or or whatever, like 45 minutes before we show up, and then I'll act like something happened. Or,
but it's like, you know, why? You know what I mean? Like, like what are you getting out of it? You know what I mean? Like, but people are fucking weird, man. You know what I mean? There's some weird motherfuckers in this world.
Right. But in the same instance though, and it kind of goes back to how I say we all leave a certain energy behind. Is I remember when my grandmother died when I was 14, my mom's mom. I was the only person that wasn't at the hospital when she died.
Okay.
And for like fucking 2 weeks after she died, my bedroom smelled like her perfume.
Weird, man.
Because she always wore this certain perfume, and we used to call it grandma perfume. You know? And it's like, oh, grandma perfume. You know, like we always knew grandma was here because we could smell her fucking perfume from like a mile away, right? It's like, oh, grandma's here. Fucking. Yeah. But my bedroom just reeked.
Now, did it actually smell, or to other people, or just you?
Yeah.
Other people.
My sister smelled it. My parents smelled it.
Like trip, man.
Yeah, it just for about 2 weeks after she died, my bedroom just smelled like grandma perfume.
Right. Maybe she was fucking wanting to get away from everyone. She just went to the one person that she
or something, or maybe that was her way of saying goodbye or something. Yeah, man,
that's a trip. I mean, wild unexplained shit. You know what I mean? But well, that's cool, man. I really appreciate you talking about that. I mean, I never in 1,000 years would have expected to hear that answer.
Yeah,
I'm asking you if you believe in ghosts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nope. I had a very interesting.
That's
upbringing.
Wild, dude.
Yeah,
that's a trip, man. So, tell me, what's the band doing? You guys got shows on deck? What's going on? Are you guys, I know you guys are starting to play, getting ready to, right?
Yeah. So how
good does it feel to know that it's coming, dude?
Oh my god, dude! Just going and fucking rehearsing with the guys,
right?
Is just fucking. It's and we all miss it, and we're just all just buddies, dude. It's just like you know, and it's just so great to just get in a fucking room and have a fucking laugh and a couple beers and let's fucking jam some songs and work on some shit, and it's great. And we have a new bass player too.
Okay.
So I'm not going to release his name right now.
All right. It better not be Bill Benson, dude.
It is not Bill Benson. It is not Bill Benson.
Yeah.
But equally as rad.
Nice.
Equally as rad.
Cool, man.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, honestly though, it's kind of the worst kept secret because we've posted for the past month. We've been posting pictures of when we go jam at Mega Sound or something, and he's in all the pictures, so it's kind of the worst kept secret.
Yeah.
So it's like people who recognize him, I guess, from the picture know. Yeah. But yeah, we'll officially announce it probably like a couple days before we actually play. And
yeah, that's cool.
And but we're playing. They're doing the Nardcore bowling again at the Camarillo bowling alley, and Tony actually he's the one who's booking all the bands for it. It's every Tuesday.
Okay. Starting
on June 22nd. And we're going to play with Out of Trust that night.
Nice, man.
Yeah, which is kind of cool because so Out of Trust, they're debuting their new singer, and we're debuting our new bass player.
Nice, man. It's cool.
Yeah. So we have that coming up, and then we have July 10th at the Steamy Valley Bowling. We're doing the bowling alley tour apparently.
Yeah, it's Bowling Alley 2021.
Yep. Yeah. So we're doing we're playing July 10th at the Harley's Bowl, the one that's way out in Simi.
Right.
Of,
yeah, I think Dad Brains played that once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're playing there. I can't remember all the bands. There's like 4 bands total, but we're playing at like 2 p.m. So it's like a day show.
That's perfect, man. Good way to ease back into it after Corona. You know what I mean? It's like,
right.
I as much as I want to play a show, being around a bunch of drunk fucking psychos at a bar, like you're still like, even though I'm vaccinated, you know what I mean? It's like I do want to see it. I want to be there. You know what I mean? But it's I've been saying it for a while. It's gonna be a wild fucking year, dude. People are really gonna be letting loose, dude. There's gonna be some straight up teen pregnancies. You know, not from us, not from us at all.
No.
But it's gonna get fucking wild, dude. I mean,
yeah,
it's cool, man.
And that's why I think kind of opening it up with these bowling alley shows, because I mean it's mostly going to be like the people that are bowling and stuff, and like, their kids and friends or whatever. But it's all people we fucking know anyway, right? Beautiful. And we're all vaxxed, we're all good to go, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, man. Fuck yeah. Well, do me a favor, throw out some Instagram handles or where you want people to follow, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. You can follow,
promote whatever you want to promote.
All right, okay.
This is your time.
So you can follow the Robot Uprising. You can follow us on Facebook at the Robot Uprising. It's either the Robot Uprising or the Robot Uprising Band, something like that. But either way, you'll find us. Just look for our ugly ass faces. But we're there. We're on Instagram, and then I play guitar in a band called Soup Hat.
Okay.
With Jason Emilio from Fangboy. And him and I, we both play guitar. We have Brittany Burchett on vocals, Gilly Faruda on drums.
Oh, nice, cool
and stuff. And we just finally put out our 4-song EP. You can find that on Bandcamp. But yeah, we recorded it in 2018, and we were planning a release show for it, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And so we're just like, and so we're like, well, what the fuck are we going to do? So we made like a COVID video for one of the songs to kind of tide it over, but we're like it's time, dude. It's man. Just fucking put it out, Yeah. So, but you can find Soup Hat, cool. Soup Hat. So, yeah, you can find same thing. Find us on Facebook. Find it on Bandcamp. Like I said, Robot Uprising. You can find us on Spotify and iTunes or whatever it's called today, and
all the things,
all the fucking things, man. Yeah.
Well, badass, dude. Well, hey, thanks so much for coming on the pod, dude. It was great to actually get to chat with you one-on-one, and I'll be seeing you, man. Tongue's pining to play some shows, so tell Tony to throw us on there.
Fucking A, dude. Fucking A.
If you want some loud shit at the bowling alley.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I appreciate it. It was awesome,
Oh, it was fucking great. A very, very cool, unexpected conversation.
Right.
I like.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. Yeah.
Those are the best, though. You know.
100%, dude. I'm with you.
Right.
All right, brother.
Killer.
Cool.
All right.